Hello everyone, welcome to Study IQ IS English channel. My name is Shubham Sagar and today we'll talk about Article 66. Why Article 66? What is single transferable vote? There are so many terms. Proportional representation, many people have heard about it. But even if you haven't, after this particular video, everything will be cleared. What is single transferable vote? What is proportional representation? What is FPTP? How Article 66 comes into picture? How president means election of vice president is different from president. So many questions have been asked by UPSC and in pre and mains related to this, so we should be ready for it. Jagdeep Dhankar sir, he has left vice president post and this is very rare. Generally what has happened is when a person leaves vice president post, he's going for the post of president or something like that. But this is a rare occurrence. Now, election has to happen for vice president under Article 66 under proportional representation system by single transferable vote. So there are so many technical things here which we have to keep in mind and we have to understand. When I used to read Lakshmikant and I used to read the single transferable vote, I used to just mug it up. After this particular video, you won't need to mug it up like anything. Also, we have to do compare and contrast. How election of vice president different from president election? President election, let's say, elected MPs, oh my god, elected MPs and MLAs, they participate. On the other hand, in the case of vice president election, MLAs, they don't participate. Doesn't matter elected or nominated. And both elected as well as nominated MPs of means Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they participate in the election of vice president. If we take it by an example, Sachin Tendulkar will be, if he was a Rajya Sabha MP, if he would have been a Rajya Sabha MP today, he was a nominated Rajya Sabha MP. So he would not have participated in presidential election. Why? Because only elected MPs of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are allowed. In the case of vice president election, Sachin Tendulkar would have participated because he was a nominated member of Rajya Sabha and both elected and nominated members and MPs are allowed in Rajya Sabha election or means vice president election rather. Again, things will become crystal clear. It can become confusing. We'll solve some questions. You will understand each and everything. So vice president resigned. Jagdeep Dhankar sir, he has resigned citing health reason, but many people are feeling something else is going on in the background. We will not go into that political connotation. We are not concerned with that, that's none of our concern. Immediate election required from exam perspective. The constitutional post of vice president cannot be left vacant and that's why election has to happen. Term and continuity. Vice president hold office for 5 years but continue until a successor takes charge. So they can give you this question, vice president hold office for 6 years, 7 years. No, 5 years. But it's not like after 5 year, if 5 year one day come, he will leave it until unless they don't have a successor, we don't have a successor, vice president will not go anywhere. He will be there and once the successor of vice president sir come, he will leave his office. Hope you are understanding it. Let's go one by one. Constitution does not provide for any succession method in case of resignation. So fresh election is the only way forward according to this article. Temporary leadership will be taken by deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha. Now how vice president election happens and how it is different from presidential election. UPSC has already asked a PYQ on presidential election. You can see here vice president elected by an electoral college comprising both elected and nominated members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. In the case of presidential election, nominated members are not part of election. In the case of vice president, legislature, MLAs, they are not part of it. In the case of presidential election, elected MLAs, they are part of presidential election. So voting freedom, members of electoral, again, you can see all these things. Party whip is not binding. What is party whip? In each of these political parties, you have so-called these dabang leaders. Dabang means these are the leaders who will be issuing a whip that all political leaders will have to follow. Let's say whip it has been issued by there's a whip leader and he's saying that you have to vote for a candidate. All the political leaders of that political party will have to vote for that person. But that whip is not needed in the case of vice presidential election. Now here again there are certain words. Proposer, seconders. What is the meaning of proposer and seconder? Let's say I propose the name of Rekha ma'am for vice president and somebody said yes, Rekha ma'am is awesome. So I was the proposer, the seconder was that person who said yes. 20 proposer, 20 seconder for vice presidential election and nomination. On the other hand, presidential election, if I'm not wrong, 50 proposer, 50 seconder. Must be submitted between this time is not important. Security deposit for both presidential and vice presidential election is 15,000. So remember these things, they are important from every exam perspective, especially UPSC. Returning officer, he or she is the officer who will be conducting election. And Secretary General of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, they are appointed on rotation basis. Cool, sir. Election method. Now this, here comes Article 66. They can ask you, because Jagdeep Dhankar sir is in news rather. So Article 66 is in news. And we have talked about so many articles earlier, Article 17, etc. Now, this election of vice president will happen via proportional representation system. Again, single transferable vote. What is this? So when you're reading proportional representation system, you have to read it with FPTP. In India, when it comes to Lok Sabha election, state legislature election, it happens, and legislative assembly election, it happens by FPTP, first past the post system. What does that mean? Let's say 100 votes were filed, and if a particular candidate A got 20 votes and the other candidates, they got lesser than 20 votes, then A will win, irrespective of the fact that he has not got the vote of rest 80, like 80 people, and 80 votes were undermined. Even though he has not got more than 50% of the vote, the person who has got the maximum vote, he will win. And this is FPTP, first past the post system. Many people say this first past the post system undermines minority votes, minority voice. So in this FPTP, even if, let's say, a political party P, they get 36% votes, there is a probability that they can or they may get 50% seats. So votes and seats, they don't go together. Unlike proportional representation system, if a political party get 36% votes, they will get 36% seats. So proportional representation ensures that even minority voices are heard. So if we feel like proportional representation system is so good, why it was not adopted during the time of independence? The reason is, at the time, this is actually complicated, proportional representation system. You know, you're voting for the party, you're not voting for the individual. There are issues here. At the time of independence, we did not have that much literacy, and that's why we opted for FPTP, first past the post system. Now there is no problem of literacy. We are literate enough, and that's why Law Commission has came up with various recommendations that we should have a mixture. We should have a combination of proportional representation system and FPTP. What is your view? Should you think FPTP should go away because it undermines minority voice, and there should be a combination of FPTP and proportional representation system, as it happens in many European countries and even I think New Zealand also? Or do you think we should have to only proportional representation? What is your view? If you have any view, post it in the comment section. Single transferable vote, I will give you an example. You will understand it via that. And voting is by secret ballot. That means nobody will know whom I voted for. Unlike the presidential election, each vote has equal value. That's fine. What does it mean, each vote has equal value? When you will read presidential election, you have elected MPs, you have elected MLAs. Elected MPs all have same value. Elected MLAs, the value of vote varies. So elected MLA of Bihar, he will have more value than elected MLA of Assam, because Bihar has more population. In the case of presidential election, UPSC has already asked a PYQ on this. You can solve that PYQ. Winning criteria, candidate must secure 50% of the valid vote plus one. Now let's try to understand the single transferable voting system. Very important. So let's say you have 3 candidates, 100 votes were casted, and this is how, now based on, if there are 3 candidates, so if I am an MP, I am voting for it, so I can give my first preference, second preference and third preference. So let's say candidate A get maximum first preference and 40, 35, 25. Now if A would have got more than 51 votes first preference, then he would have won and there would not have been any other thing done. But now since nobody has got more than 50% of the votes, then what will happen? The last candidate will be eliminated. He was the first preference of 25 MPs. Now we will see what was the second preference of 25 MPs, and that will be added to candidate A and B. Hope you are understanding. See this. So candidate C is eliminated now, A and B are left. Their 25 votes are checked for second preference. These 25 MPs, they have kept C as the first preference. What was their second preference? Now that second preference will be added to A and B vote. If most of C's second preference goes to A, then A crosses 51, he or she wins. But if B and crosses and it goes to B, the second preference of maximum of the C candidate of the MPs who voted for C is B, and B is getting more than 50, then B wins. That's how this single transferable vote works. If you have multiple candidates, the last candidate will be eliminated, his second preference will be added to the remaining people, and the process will go on and on until someone gets more than 50% of the vote. So that's how this whole thing happens. Hope you understood some part of single transferable vote and how does it work. Very good. Now let's solve some question based on what we have just read. Electoral college for election of vice president consists of only elected members, elected and nominated members, only elected members. You can see here, you can solve this question. We had a discussion on this. MCQ 2 rather, consider the following statement about electoral college of president of India. We have talked about the difference between presidential election and vice president election. So see this. And you can do option elimination. This is a tricky question. Even if you're getting it wrong, don't worry about it. Cool. MCQ 3, in the election of Vice President of India, which of the following voting method is used? I think this is a very simple question. If you know it, post it. MCQ 4, which of the following statement correctly differentiate between election of President and Vice President of India? Again, if you know it. And again, you can do option elimination. Go slowly, slowly. These questions are technical because there are so many words involved, and you have to remember elected, nominated, MP, MLAs, elected MP, elected MLAs, nominated MP. So there are words and you have to revise it. Cool. So again, if you know the answer of all these 4 MCQs, you can post it in the comment section. If you feel like I contributed anything to your knowledge base, please like, share, subscribe, because that will give us more motivation. I will share this particular PDF along with the answer of these 4 MCQs in my Telegram channel, Fun Study with you, because oh my God, I was in a Sankar Mahadevan mode, breathless, because study should be fun. So if you haven't joined my Telegram family, you can join it. Also, sir, if you're preparing for UPSC 26, 27, 28, please remember one thing which is very important, most important in your UPSC preparation is your optional. Optional carries 500 marks out of 1750 marks of UPSC. So optional is make or break. Please prepare your optional. You can also post in the comment section what is your optional and how is your preparation going. If you feel like you're lagging somewhere behind in the optional preparation, our optional fest is going on, and you can see here UPSC optional, Shashank Tyagi sir, Divakar sir, Bhuvan sir, all of them are taking their respective optional. Whatever optional you want to take, you can take it. You can use my code SHS Live to get maximum discount. Let's say you want to take Shashank Tyagi sir PSIR, like it's a hot favorite among students who prefer PSIR optional. You can check your optional whether it is there or not and go to buy now. You can see different variants based on what do you want. If you want everything, so platinum or gold. And if you apply my code, let's say here you press on add promo code, you apply SHS Live. If you apply only for Today Fest India, you will get 6,000 discount. But if you apply SHS Live, you will see this 24,999 will reduce to 17,999. Gold will reduce to 12,999. So again, you can join any of the batches you want to. And if you have any queries, you can call on, I think I will show you one number where you can call on 76400300. But please, please, please don't undermine your optional. Ideal way should be that you join, like there is one P2I course you can join, and let me just show you. So you have to balance it out. I'm making this video in July 2025, and by January 2026, your optional syllabus completely and your GS main syllabus as much as possible should be done. And how it can be done? You can join one P2I batch, any batch, and the prices is as low as 9,999, and one optional batch based on what is your optional. Do them together. You can watch my Hindu analysis every day at 9 a.m. and that's it, done. You will be clearing your UPSC. Nobody is, going to stop you. And do keep a tab on whether you're studying all these things together, classes attended together, you are studying for 8 hours or not. So again, you can post your option in the comment section. What is your option and how is your preparation going? Please don't undermine your optional. Your optional will give you rank. So that's it from me. What is your view on this Article 66 vice presidential election? Jagdeep Dhankar sir, why he resigned? If you know the reason, post it in the comment section along with the answer of those 4 MCQs. Take care, be blessed. Tata, bye bye.